Afternoon tea.
Oh yes, it's time for afternoon tea, our sit-down chat with somebody in the county who has an important, interesting job or just a great story to tell, and finding out more about them and their lives. Now, my guest today is Roxy from Downton, near Salisbury. Roxy's become famous on YouTube for her video blog documenting her life as somebody who is transgender. She's currently transitioning from being a man to a woman. And so I went to meet her at the choice of destination, which I always give my guests on this feature, and asked them, where do they want to go? Into your house here. Here we go. Here we are. Thank you.
Welcome to our abode.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. What's inside the tank?
4 slow worms, would you
Oh,
believe?
fantastic. Let's have a little look.
Actually out at the moment.
4 slow worms. So they're in there somewhere.
So we are currently sat in my dining room. On the left of us, we have an amazing chameleon, a Yemen chameleon.
You've just been looking at that. Your chameleon sitting in the corner. It's really cool. And it is very well disguised as well.
I can't actually see it right now. It might have escaped.
We've got your dogs as well.
Oh, yes.
Who's sitting here.
We've got my Staffy. He's called Toby.
Hello, Toby.
He's black and he's got white paws. Hello.
Hello.
And we've got Harley, who's very lazy and likes to lie down in his bed most of the time. So yeah, apart from that, this is just my dining room. It's where I come and just sit down and chill with a cup of tea. I thought it'd be nice to... Maybe it's not as exciting as a theatre or somewhere, but it's somewhere cool to come and just sit down.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's your space. It's a place where you feel comfortable and happy. And how long have you lived here in Downton for?
We moved here in 2004, so quite a few years now, over 10 years. It's okay. It's great. It's nice to be able to walk about and just explore it, especially on days when it's quiet and you can just walk to the New Forest, because the New Forest is very close as well. So you can take a bicycle up there. It's really nice and very laid back. Do
good tea in here as well. Your dad's made us a lovely cup of tea. I was hoping to get him on the radio, but he's had to pop out. But he's made us a lovely cup of tea. Got us in a Targaryen mug. So you're Game of Thrones fans here.
Game of Thrones. Personally, I've only ever watched one episode and fell asleep, but I'm sure it's great.
Well, we first came to know about you through your YouTube videos, which are incredibly successul. Actually, hundreds of views, sometimes thousands of views as well.
Surprises me too.
Yeah. Just explain to me why you decided to start these videos, because there's a deep personal reason why you've decided to do that.
I came out in 2011 as having gender dysphoria, being transgender, male to female. And in 2012, I decided to start a YouTube channel documenting my life, because back then there was nothing. I mean, there was the odd video on YouTube, but it wasn't anywhere on the level that it is now. So I created that channel to hopefully help other people in the same situation as me. Maybe they'd stumble across my video and would be able to learn something or be able to see a part of themselves in me. And let's just say I'm not the most cleverest person in the world. I'm not exactly the biggest role model, but I was hoping in some ways that I could help.
So you were a boy when you grew up, and what age did you realise that there was something different in the way that you were thinking and feeling?
At a very early age, probably when I was in junior school, so about 5 years old. I always felt odd. I didn't know why I felt odd, but I didn't feel like the rest of the boys, if that makes any sense. I suppose at that age you don't really have anything to compare it to, so you don't really understand the feeling that's there. It wasn't until secondary school where I had to go to the changing rooms for PE and sports. And that was very, very difficult, because I had to change with the boys, and I just felt, I was like, no, I can't do this. And I ended up not doing PE and sports at school, because it took such an impact on me. And there was such this thing nagging at my brain, being like, no, this is wrong. And I didn't know why that was wrong. It wasn't until about 2008 where I finally discovered the term gender dysphoria.
And what age were you then?
I was 17 then. Unfortunately, depression and anxiety stopped me from doing that until 2011.
And why did that depression, anxiety come on? Was that a separate thing, or was that to do with what you were going through? Was that because of the way that people reacted to the decision that you'd made?
I never told anyone. I kept this hidden to myself for many years. I felt like my friends would disown me, and that was a huge impact on me. And it's hard to say. I mean, if you're listening and you are feeling any of these feelings, it might not be as bad as you're feeling it might be.
A chance to be radio DJ now. You're going to pick a song for us as well to play on the radio. What have you chosen for us then?
I have picked Always. It was my mum's favourite song, and she was a big driving force. Unfortunately, she passed away before I could tell her about my transition. That was her favourite song. I remember she'd listen to it all the time. It's so great and powerful, and that's the song that I've chose. So Always.
And when did you decide to go from feeling like you wanted to be a girl, a woman, to then actually taking the steps and saying, you know what, I am going to change myself, I'm going to transition?
It was 2011, and I had a mental breakdown. I was working constantly, but telling my dad was a different story because I'd grown up with him. He was eating his breakfast. He was eating a cheese and ham sandwich, toasted. And he sat there, and I was like, I got this book I'd bought on Amazon, Gender Dysphoria, kind of understanding it and stuff. I slammed it down on the table, bang, right? I was like, I'm this. And he looked at it and was like, what? I was like, right, read the book. I'm transgender. I'm not telling a lie. He sat there for about 10 minutes with his piece of toast hanging out of his mouth. I wish I'd got a picture or video of it because it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, it was a huge weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, what did that feel like then when you'd started to tell people? You had decided as well, in your own mind, you decided this is what I'm going to be and this is what I want to be. How did that then feel for you?
Like I was a completely new person.
Let's have a little walk outside as we finish the interview, because you've got a lovely garden. I just want to have a little walk around it because you've got some fish in the pond. You have various pets in the house. There's some fish in the pond as well. Yeah. Let's just take a step outside here. And now on to the bit that everyone seems to dread for some reason. I don't know why. The mystery questions. So basically, I have a list of 100. I have a list of 100 questions on here. You've got to choose a couple of them, and that correlates to a question. So number 1 to 100, what are you going to choose?
83.
Number 83 is, if you could be talented in any other way, what would your talent be?
Musician. Piano. I've absolutely adored piano since I was a kid, and the idea that I'd be able to just sit there and play Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven would be a dream.
Let's have another number then, between 1 and 100. What do you want?
Let's go with 29.
At number 29, if you could meet anybody from history, who would you like to meet?
Amelia Earhart, and find out where she went.
That's a good idea. Roxy, thank you for having afternoon tea with me.
No, thank you ever so much for having me on. It's been absolutely amazing, and thank you for coming to my abode.
Thank you very much for having us. Roxy there having a chat with us about her YouTube channel, The Roxy Report, it's called. You can find that if you go to YouTube, The Roxy Report. She's on Twitter as well. You can find her there. And just amazing to follow her journey as she's transitioning at the moment, and just fascinating to hear what it's like for somebody in Wiltshire in 2017 who is going through that. Roxy, thank you very much for sharing that with us.